Okay guys, so I don't know why I'm posting this video, but I've been watching a lot of booktube recently and review videos and stuff like that, and I think something in that kind of just triggered me, and I don't know, I just had to get it out there. I kind of just had to clear my mind, address the problems that I have with this freaking story, and this seemed like a good way to do it. Now, don't get it twisted. I actually seriously like the Mortal Instruments series. I am so excited for this new season of Shadowhunters. It's just this one character that I have a problem with. And the problem is that character is the main character, which makes the books quite a bit difficult to read. Still, I like it, but I don't like her. I could probably make like a 2-hour long rant about why I don't like her, but for the sake of being relatively brief, I'm just going to be addressing this one comment that Cassandra Clare made that I think is the main reason why I can't just let it go, because the author herself is kind of like apparently ignorant to the way her character affects the audience, and that is quite frustrating to me, because as a writer you're supposed to be very aware of the way your audience is going to perceive a character, and if it's the main character, that's like even doubly so. You have to be aware of that, and she isn't. So there was a commentator who submitted a question to Cassandra Clare's Tumblr, and this is what they said. I know Claire is the main character, but is she meant to be a little annoying? I love the books, I just can't stand her thought process. So for me, this is kind of like with restaurants and clients type of thing, where the client can't be wrong. I kind of feel like I know this probably touched a nerve with the author and it probably hurt her, but the audience also can't really be wrong, especially in this regard, with the way the audience or the reader feels. You can't have a reader tell you, oh, this is the feeling that a scene invoked in me, and be like, oh no, you're wrong. You were supposed to feel da 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 da. That's not the way it works. That's not the way reading works. And I have quite a problem with the way she responds, because I feel like she's avoiding the issue. She's focusing it on something else, and she's making it almost like a feminist issue, which it doesn't need to be. There's no reason for it to go into that territory. So she replies, look, it's okay if you don't like Clary. Characters are like real people. There is no such thing as one that everyone loves. She is meant to be realistic and flawed, of course. She's impulsive and rash. She's quick to act and sometimes also quick to judge. And just like with real people, that means some will like her and some won't. In fact, with Clary, I deliberately gave her a lot of traits I associated with boy heroes in fiction. Impulsiveness, recklessness, lack of regard for her own safety, the responsibility to protect her mother, best friend, boyfriend, the responsibility to save the world. I wanted to see how they would sit with a girl protagonist, and well, a lot of people don't like it. One thing I do find interesting is that with male characters, they are very rarely called annoying. You can hate a male character or find them evil, but annoying, being a very dismissive term, is applied almost uniquely to women and female characters. In fact, this seemed so across the board to me that I looked around and indeed found a group of essays by whatever that name is about just this. To anyone annoyed by women, an open letter. Jerry Ryan shows up as a sassy con artist on Leverage, and people groan about how annoying her character is. Michelle Borth plays a self-confident sailor who sleeps with Stephen McGarrett on Hawaii 5-0, and someone writes a horrifying story about how she gets murdered and gets dozens of people praising it for killing off that annoying bitch. People gush about Michael Fassbender and complain incessantly about January Jones in X-Men First Class, calling one amazing and the other, you guessed it, annoying. Ellen Page is so annoying in Inception. Gwyneth Paltrow is so annoying in Iron Man. Annoying, annoying, annoying. It would be funny if it weren't so predictable. So I guess what I would say is, of course, being a female character doesn't mean you get a pass from anyone. Take a moment to stop and ponder what it is that makes you think that character is annoying. What precise actions she took that bothered you so much, and whether they would bother you if a boy did them. And herein lies my problem, is she makes it an issue about, oh, if a boy did it, it wouldn't be annoying. No, if a boy did it, they would get the same criticism. The thing is, boys rarely fall into the same trap that people writing female characters do. And I mean, boy characters don't fall in the same trap as often with this problem as female characters does. I just don't find that to be the rule. This is my opinion. If you don't like that opinion, you can very well leave this channel. I'm not forcing you to be here. So, my problem, let's first address the fact of this open letter to anyone who finds women annoying. The fact that you're a woman does not excuse you to criticism. I'm sorry, but don't you dare try and play that card with me. I am a woman. I'm not immune to criticism. It's not what this person who commented to the author meant. It wasn't about the fact that, oh, she's a girl, so I find her so annoying. Nothing to do with that. The very first example that this open letter gives is Jerry Ryan. I absolutely love Leverage. When Jerry Ryan came onto the show, yes, I found her frustrating. You can even say I found her annoying. Why did I find her annoying? I found her annoying because I was terrified that she would mess up the group dynamic because of this new element that she represented that was basically a replacement for another character who had temporarily left the show. And the thing is, I didn't continue to find her annoying throughout the rest of the season. She grew on me. She showed me she was no threat to the rest of the characters. She slotted in perfectly with her sass, with her awesomeness, and I got over my fear. My fear was the thing that caused me to be annoyed by her. It had nothing to do with the fact that she was a woman. So, moving on to the only other example that I can vouch for, because the rest I have not watched. Okay, well, except for Iron Man, that I will also comment on. But I also seriously like the girl that plays opposite Stephen McGarrett. I never knew her name because I wasn't that into the episodes or the seasons in which she became a regular. But I really, really liked her. She was a wonderful character. She was confident. She was awesome. She was self-assured. It was amazing. I really enjoyed her. Once again, nothing to do with the fact that she's female. And I didn't find her annoying. I found her interesting, and I felt like they could have spent a bit more time in developing her character. And they did that in the later seasons, which I didn't watch. So I'm very happy for her that she actually did get a proper character growth. I didn't find her annoying. Then, last one that I can address that I watched is Iron Man. I never felt Gwyneth Paltrow was annoying. This is all my opinion. I am just showing you that just because the person was a girl, I didn't find them annoying because they were a girl. I found them annoying because they were doing something wrong. There were reasons why I found them annoying. It wasn't just because. And that is my problem that I have with Cassandra Clare's defense, if you will, is she's basically saying, oh, but it seems the only reason why you say she's annoying is because she is a she. No. Clary Fray has some serious problems concerning the way her character was written. It has nothing to do with the fact that she is a girl. So when I first read this comment, what I immediately thought of was the fact that she said she kind of modeled Clary after the typical boy hero. So I took a look into my personal arsenal of boy heroes that I've read about, and I compared, and herein lies the problem. The person I found her the most comparable to with regards to her situation is Percy Jackson, and he also lost his mother in the first book. He went on a search for her throughout the first book, and so did Clary. So what I'm going to be focusing on first is the fact that she said she took inspiration from the way boy characters were treated, boy heroes were treated for the development of Clary's character. She said she wanted to see how they would sit in a female character, and though I personally take issue with this because I do not feel that a boy and a girl will react the same in the same circumstances, and if she does, it needs to be a highlighted part of her personality, that she does not think the same way that Isabel would, and thus that kind of like is an asset and helps the team in a way that the normal thought processes of a girl would not. And I know most people are going to take issue with the fact that I'm saying, oh, but girls think this way and guys think that way. However, regardless of the fact that I have issue with that she's basically taken a boy's brain and put it into a girl's body and called that feminism, I am not going to be addressing that first. What I am going to be addressing is the way she approached the flaws that she gave Clary. So the first thing she says is she gave her the traits that was commonly associated with boy heroes. So impulsiveness, recklessness, lack of regard for her own safety, and the responsibility to protect her mother, best friend, and boyfriend. Now, here is where I take issue with this. Cassandra Clare laminates that she wanted to make Clary reckless, impulsive, and uncaring of her own safety. Fair enough. If those are the character flaws you want to bestow on a character, fine. But this is where my first disconnect with the character starts. Both Percy and Harry Potter have these traits of recklessness, but it's much more believable. In Potter and Jackson's case, they're really young in their first books, 11 and 12 respectively. And with that, you can excuse the disconnect from reality when they set themselves up for tasks many older people would simply not think them capable of. Unlike Clary, who is 15 within her first book and still thinks it's smart to go and try and confront the guys she believes is going to kill someone in a club when a security guard has already been called. Her defense for this is that she believes that it's going to be too late by the time that the security guard shows up. But as she makes her way across the club, she has plenty of time to reconsider her actions. She has plenty of time to formulate a plan, think of something that is not being impulsive, that is being naive, and that is being short-sighted. That is a completely different kind of flaw than being impulsive. Short-sightedness is another ball game entirely, and it's a flaw that Cassandra Clare wrote into Clary's character, not just in this instance, but with many of the following instances. And it's something that she never addresses. It's something that, in my opinion, was accidentally written into Clary's character, and that frustrates me so much because it's one of many flaws that were seemingly accidentally written into Clary's character. And that's where the problem lies, because you can't have an author accidentally write so many flaws into one character. That's why people find her annoying, is because she has so many flaws that are irredeemable because the author wasn't aware of them when she wrote them in, so she couldn't counterbalance them. And that's the thing, every hero needs a flaw, but for that flaw they need something that counterbalances it. For example, Percy Jackson is looking for his mother. He decides to undertake the quest of a lifetime where he has to go and somehow retrieve Zeus's lightning bolt. He does that to save his mother. He doesn't want other people to go on the journey with him because he knows he's basically going on a suicide mission to save his mother. The only reason why he allows other people to fall into the danger he's setting himself up for is because they are insistent. They want that experience. They each have something to gain from going with Percy. And because he is going after his mother in secret, he can't justify not taking them. So, as a 12-year-old boy wanting to save his mother with no reason to deny the two people who want to go with him, no way to stop them, no way to stop the two people who want to go with him from coming with him, he is left without options but to take them along. And herein is the justifiableness of him putting Annabeth and Grover's lives in danger. Clary, on the other hand, is solely focused on her mother. Cassandra Clare wrote in the fact that, she has all this responsibility of looking for her mother, keeping her best friend safe, keeping her boyfriend safe, saving the world. The thing is, yes, those things happen, but those things only happen later on in the book. She has absolutely no regard for anyone else's problems, issues, situations. At the beginning, she doesn't care about anyone but her mother at the beginning. She doesn't care that she's leading Simon into a dangerous situation at the beginning when she allows him into the church. It's so frustrating because she has all of that and she doesn't really have guilt over anything until Simon gets turned into a vampire. That's her first turning point. That's so freaking far into the book. There's no remorse that's shown at the beginning. She doesn't care that she's wrecking Alec and Isabel's life with the uncertainty going on with the clave. She doesn't care that she's basically in the middle of the war and all she's doing is aggravating everything within it simply because she wants to look for her mother. That is her only focal point. If you look at Percy Jackson, he almost, I don't want to say forgets about his mother, but that doesn't continue to be the only focus point, the only thing he cares about throughout the entire book. He actually worries about Annabeth. He worries about Grover. He focuses on only that for so long that by the time you get to the reveal of it's his friends or his mother that he has to choose between, you know without a shadow of a doubt that this is the hardest decision he has to make. He actually has to choose between the woman he went on this quest for and the friends he made along the way. You don't get that same sense of loyalty from Clary. She is so willing to sacrifice other people's situations for her mother. This is something that I feel the series actually improved on. You see Clary's struggles, you see her emotions. I have a serious problem with the lack of emotion that's going on throughout this book. So yeah, that is an issue to me. If she has flaws, you need to counterbalance them because the audience can't end up hating the hero unless it's an anti-hero, and clearly Clary wasn't written as an anti-hero. She was meant to be the strong female character that girls could live themselves into, and that's not what she comes across as. She is constantly shirking her responsibilities because she only sees her responsibilities as, oh, I need to save my mom. That is my box of responsibility. That is what I am doing. She doesn't care about everything else at the beginning. And that beginning is most of the first book. It's not the first 10 pages. It's not the first 5 chapters. It's most of the first book. And I don't want you thinking, oh, but she gets better at the end. It's fine. Don't worry. She has other problems that crops up later. That's like just, oh, you thought she was better. No. Here's some more things for you to not like about her. Excuse me? The moment she truly lost me, because I could kind of go with it. We all know this series takes place over the span of a few months. The actual events take place at rapid succession. They happen really fast. So her growth needs to be considered within that time as well. And a thing that really bothered me was at one point she rejects Luke because he's a downworlder. Excuse me, how long have you been in this freaking new world? and you're already getting like racist or like, I don't even know what you would call it, speciesist, I don't know, but she is already like judging, and it's not judging the way I'm assuming Cassandra Clare meant it. It's judging someone you already know, who you've known without any boundaries for most of your life, and suddenly you're being speciesist, whatever you want to call it. It has nothing to do with first impressions. It has nothing to do with, oh, that guy is... It has nothing to do with, oh, that girl likes the same guy I like, so she must be stupid. Nothing to do with that. She knows exactly who Luke is. She loves Luke supposedly as a father, but oh, heaven forbid I am suddenly half angel and now I am better than Luke. Excuse me? What? Am I really supposed to vote and love a character like that? So yeah, that's where she lost me. But that's the thing, is that for me as an audience member was a very, very pivotal moment in how I saw Clary as a character. And Cassandra Clare just didn't handle it as if any important information had been exchanged. I couldn't even find the reference for that to like put somewhere here like, oh, this takes place in the second book on page wada wada wada. No, I couldn't even find it because it's handled as that insignificantness of a moment. Like, it frustrated me so much, and that's constantly a thing. She throws Clary's flaws out as if like, oh, you know, it's just the way she is and it's fine, and there's like a freaking thunderstorm going on as I'm recording this. Like, she handles it as if it's nothing. So it's not like, oh, this is a serious flaw that will cause our protagonist serious consequences, and she's going to learn from it because it's gonna come back and it's gonna bite her in the ass. No. That doesn't happen. It's just like, oh, here's a flaw, here's another flaw, here's another flaw. But it's fine, we'll just gloss over all of it. And then in the end, she's suddenly this perfect human being, this beautiful little biscuit. I'm like, what? Did we not? What? It's so inconsistent because she has all these flaws. And I'm not saying you can't grow from flaws, but the audience would very much like to see the growth. Thank you very much. You can't just be like this flawed idiot at the beginning of all the books, and then voila, at the end, oh yeah, equality for all and peace on earth. No. What? Excuse me? Now, I am well aware that I've been babbling an incoherent mess up until now, but I think the reason why it touched me the way it did is because we're at this point where everyone is writing female characters and they're constantly trying to one-up another in the way they write it. They're trying to make bigger, awesomer female characters. And I have seen very few succeed in making a very awesome female protagonist. And Clary irks me because she had a lot of potential. I absolutely love the rest of the characters. I adore Isabel. I think she is a great female character. She's strong but sexy. She doesn't have to compromise on being feminine to also be strong and intelligent. And Clary fell short. I'm not saying you have to be sexy to be feminine. That's not what it's about. But Clary was just frustrating in all the wrong ways. She's falling into this modern day trap of, oh, she's a female, so she has to have all these flaws, but she's not going to feel the effects of these flaws. Like, she has the impulsiveness, she has the recklessness, she has the absolute disregard for her own safety, but she never bears the consequences of those actions. She doesn't suffer because of them. The only place in which I can truly see her suffering every single time for her mistakes, because those are mistakes that she's making, otherwise they would not be flaws, is in the series, in the TV series. The book falls so short for me on that, because there are so many options of, oh, she could have, her flaws could have built up to this massive problem, but they do not. The places where she has issues, like, for example, the Sealy Queen, that's not an issue of her flaws. That problem is because she's in love with Jace. That's not a flaw. Her impulsiveness is literally only used to jumpstart the series, and it doesn't really play a role in causing her specifically problems further on. It causes problems for everyone else that they have to clean up, but it doesn't cause her problems. And I am happy for you to rebuke these observations, because I will be fair, I haven't read the first book in a while, hence why I can't give you exact page numbers. So rebuke away, and I will happily respond to your comments in the comment section if anyone wants to take the time out of their day to respond to this very random, ranty video. But I genuinely do have issue with Clary as a character, and I do not appreciate the issues and the frustration that I feel with her as a character being disregarded because she's female. Hence the fact that I think she's annoying makes my feelings on the matter invalid. This has nothing to do with the fact that she's female, and everything to do with the balance of the character and the way she as a character was handled. Okay, I'm done. To any one random person who actually watched this, thank you, and bye-bye.